Our website is a supplementary tool to learn and practice aperture and shutter speed for intro-level photography class. This web-based tool can be used for in-class practice and after-class practice. We use the Schwartz-Hartman wheel as our instructional design framework. The first section of this web-based tool is an exposure and depth of field simulator. The learning target is to allow students to be able to explain how aperture and shutter speed could influence a photo's depth of field and exposure. Currently, we have not figured out how to link the images to the slider when the user drag it, but our goal is to show different images that represent different depth of field and exposure when the user adjusts the aperture and shutter speed. The second section includes two practices. The learning target is to help students develop the skill to determine the approximately correct aperture and shutter speed. Although the first practice focuses more on the concept of depth of field, and then second practice focuses more on the concept of exposure, both practices show that aperture and shutter speed play important roles in controlling how light and dark a photo can appear.
There are 3 questions for each practice. Each question is built on the previous question. The first question aims to help students examine if they are familiarized with the visual outcome of depth of field and exposure. The second question provides students the opportunity to test if they can explain how to adjust the aperture and shutter speed to achieve the effect of depth of field and shutter speed. The third question asks students to estimate the f-stop of shutter speed. The goal of the third question is to let students build the skills to give an estimation of what f-stop or shutter speed to use. As this web-based tool is designed for intro students, we create a range of number of f-stop and shutter speed. As long as users' estimation falls in between the range, their answers will be considered correct. We also decide not to ask users to determine the numbers of f-stop and shutter speed at the same time because otherwise the difficulty level is too high.
In addition, we created the feedback feature and designed a button called Check My Answer for users to decide if they want a feedback or when they want it. If user chooses a wrong answer, we will give a specific explanation to guide them to think about why it is wrong. For example, in the third question of practice 1, if user's estimation about f-stop is too low, we will remind the user not to overexpose the photo. In this way, the user not only needs to think about what the relationship of exposure and f-stop is, but also think about how to adjust the f-stop and make sure the photo is not overexposed.
Thank you.